Mike Lubitz with me, and we have the Gambling Gourmet. Mike Mayo joins us every Friday on our Degenerate Friday program. I would imagine you've been at a lot of these coaches' press conferences where they come in to take over a job. The last time I saw this kind of enthusiasm, I don't know if you saw any of the clips, Mike, of this Mike McIntyre. He takes over at FIU, a team that won one game last year. The last time I saw this much enthusiasm, I had accidentally tuned into an episode where they had an Up With People concert on TV. I used to read the headlines in the racing forum. It was always great because the headlines were so archaic. I mean, they were just paying token homage to the idea that kind of like some of the public service announcements that you hear various radio stations play. I mean, they're obligated to do it by FCC regulations that were written when the Magna Carta came out. Do you really feel in your heart of hearts, having been in radio as long as you were, that the general philosophy of the radio station, go ahead and honor a commitment to do things that were beneficial to the local community? No. All they wanted to know, hey, is Zimmerman going to spill the beans on that account for the casino?
That's all they cared about.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
On a beautiful Wednesday here as we originate from South Florida on Ion Channel. Good morning, everybody. Great to be with you. It's the Defo Show. I'm Jeff Deforrest, along with one Mike Lubitz here on Ion Channel, streaming audio and video all the way around the world and gaining popularity in other countries and all across the United States of America. Appreciate the people tuning in, telling people about the show. All you have to do to find us, hey, where you at, Defo? Is Google the Defo Show. Now, a lot of people, surprisingly, Lubie, how are you, by the way? Good morning to you, my friend. How are things going at the Lubitz household?
I'm doing well. Thank goodness for Brad once again, as at 6:30 I couldn't sign in, and I couldn't find the password to get in. So Brad, even though I don't even know if he's up early, by osmosis, just could feel me and my anxiety and got me in. So thank you, Brad, once again. You always save the day. So I'm doing
very
well.
Reliable cat. Yeah, very reliable cat, this Brad Schiller. We tip our hat to him. If we were wearing hats, we'd be tipping it to Brad Schiller, the old Joe D thing, right? Hit the home run, a little tip to the crowd, and then right back into the dugout, come back out for the standing ovation and the encore. And, that would be the way to go with the technical aspect of things here, because we'd be lost without this guy. So thank you very much, Brad Schiller, for getting us on here, because it would be hard to make this kind of effort and then have everything collapse. Right? Show crap out is just, it's my least favorite activity. I mean, nobody feels worse about it than we do that are here trying to bring you this kind of and level of levity and entertainment each and every day. All I could say today is, and I was reading, we could go over and probably fill the entire week's worth of shows examining playoff scenarios. And I always like that, although, the bottom line, I guess, for everybody is let me wait until all the games are over. And then see who's in the postseason, because it's just too much. And this year is exceptional. The AFC, Lubie, I saw a little blurb yesterday. The AFC has 7 teams that still could make it into the postseason.
Wow.
As we approach Week 18. There are 7 different teams vying for one of 2 spots in the postseason that are still available. So 5 teams going to be eliminated on the final day of the season, and 2 teams are going to get in. But there's this oddball scenario that would be such an atrocity if it actually played out to its absolutely worst aspects, as if the Jaguars, I'm going to say this right at the top of the show, because I love chaos. Chaos sells in this business.
Yes, you do.
Would anybody be talking about the Brooklyn Nets right now if Kyrie Irving was playing? Maybe, maybe for good reasons. But nonetheless, the whole storyline all year is when is this space cadet finally going to fall into line and get himself a vaccine? And now you have a little counter story to that with Novak Djokovic, who oddly somehow received a medical exception to not have to be vaccinated. He'll be the only man in Australia that doesn't have full vaccination. as he has now been permitted a special exemption, a medical exemption,
Oh my God.
into the Australian Open. Now, they said to protect his privacy and the privacy of the players, they can't discuss what condition he might have. But let me ask you, Lubie, what condition could he possibly have?
Look, I'm not
would
gonna lie. There are
prevent him?
some people who are immunocompromised and have like heart ailments that some doctors will not give them a vaccine. If that's
All
the
right.
case, fine. But is that the case? Like, I feel
No,
like
it seems to me
the case. Like,
he's the defending champion trying to make history in the number one draw in men's tennis right now, with Nadal kind of on the shelf there, and Federer looks like he's finished. And so, what are you selling if you're selling tickets to the Australian Open? Hey, watch Novak go for number 21. He's going to do it here. He wins every year. Defending champion coming back. So somehow they found, and they were saying, very adamant about the idea. All of the Australian authorities and people on whatever athletic council made this determination that these are not going to be just loose, easily applied loopholes to get these medical exemptions to get certain players into the tournament. But needless to say, Lubie, what would you think the other players' reaction was?
yeah,
They're pissed.
It feels like bullshit. Sorry.
Don't kiss me, Novak, and don't breathe in my face there. And if you're going to argue a call, turn the other way. Don't talk to the umpire.
Exactly.
And I'm a big Djokovic fan. A lot of people don't like Djokovic. I mean, the guy's brilliant. And, you talk about Tony Segreto is going to join us later on. Talk about guys that rise to the occasion in the moment. It's Novak Djokovic. I mean, how many times have you seen him look like he's struggling? He's not on his best stuff. The other guy is just smoking hot, making all kinds of circus plays and out hustling Djokovic, which is pretty hard to do. And maybe, he had that occasion there in the finals, the last tournament he was in, where he had just played like 36 hours the day before. Played like 2 matches and then had to go into the finals because this COVID has wreaked havoc with a lot of sports, and tennis no exception. But there are going to be a lot of people belly aching about that. That's a whole nother story. But this Go Jaguars thing is kind of interesting, Lubie. Do you realize what happens? The people at NBC is carrying the Sunday night game, and so they have flexed a game. So they have the Raiders are going to be going against the Chargers in Las Vegas.
Oh, well, that's a huge one, yeah.
Both teams still in contention for a playoff spot. Neither team guaranteed a position in the postseason. And it could be a situation, it's possible that the winner gets in and the loser goes home. So that sets up a pretty, unique set of circumstances that people enjoy, where you're thinking, all right, this is literally loser leaves town.
Yep.
Plus, of course, it's Las Vegas because they will be in town there. But if the Jaguars beat the Indianapolis Colts, then both the Raiders and the Chargers would get into the postseason. They would fill the 2 spots if they tied in that game.
Okay.
So there would be an incentive there for them to just take a knee on every play. Think about that. Maybe in some prearranged agreement, Mark Davis takes the ball off his head and says, "Oh, okay, that's enough. I said just a little off the top." And he gets in touch, with the Chargers brass and says, hey, why don't we just play to a tie? You imagine what kind of havoc that would wreak in Las Vegas with the bettors. I mean, the underplayers would be dancing in the streets. How cool would that be, though, if, they received the opening kickoff, whichever team gets the kickoff, and immediately took a knee 3 times and then punted. And the other team gets the ball, takes a knee 3 times, and then punts. Say, here's Al Michaels. And Chris, what do you think about that one? Well, you know what? The way he took that knee, I tell you, that's potentially damaging to the ACL. And they do this. I mean, it wouldn't take long to play that game, would it? It would be all rushing plays, no clock stoppages, except when the ball exchanged hands.
Yeah.
And there would be no threat of any scoring plays. And both teams would make the postseason then, based on that performance.
I feel like that's not what's going to happen. But I guess that would be I don't think that'd be entertaining, but that'd be interesting.
Of all the playoff scenarios that we could have laid out for you, of course, that one was the most appealing to me.
Double kneel outs to a tie.
Go Jaguars. What are the chances the Jaguars, peeling themselves off the mat from a 50-3 bludgeoning at the hands of the New England Patriots, actually go out there and beat the Indianapolis Colts, who still, I want to say, the Colts have to be one of those teams that has a playoff spot.
They have a chance, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're in.
I don't know if it's winning they're in, but that gets too complicated for me to try and figure out. There's so many different mathematical permutations. What is the 5th tiebreaker, Defo? Do you know? I'll hang up and listen. I don't know, pass more gas during the first half of a game in what was a measurable quantity. It's pretty hard to determine all of that. So we'll see, but it could boil down to this, Lubie. Jaguars win in Indianapolis, and all of a sudden you have helter-skelter when it comes to the postseason and the possibility that two teams would have great incentive to play for a tie. If you were John Harbaugh would probably go for two in that spot, right? All he has to do is tie the ball game up.
That's the thing is they kneel it out
Next
the whole game, and
postseason.
then he goes for.
Yeah, let's roll the dice. We're in Vegas. What the hell? I have to give a little credit to the Raiders players. I mean, you talk about a tumultuous season. You had the Gruden thing, the thing with Ruggs. They just had another one of their players arrested on a DUI. So it's been nothing but turmoil for the Las Vegas Raiders and playing in front of fans in Las Vegas for the first time. Did they not get off to a decent start this year and then kind of slumped?
Yep.
And then you had the whole Gruden thing, and they've done a decent job since to maintain their presence in the race and still have a possibility. I believe they can play their way in with a victory. But there I go, trying to decipher playoff scenarios, which is
You just said you weren't going to do it.
next to impossible. I suppose this is going on in every city. We had a lot of this yesterday. John Congemi was with us. He does a great job on Dateline Dolphins that we had on the program yesterday, usually with us on Mondays. And, of course, we're looking forward to getting some insight on the postseason from the great Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, planning a venture down there, although don't have the exact date yet, Lubie, for all of our fans. But we'll be down there at some point in time, even if it's after the season. It would still be a pleasure. I don't know what Jimmy's schedule is going to be during the course
He
of
open up.
postseason.
Honestly, he may have more time.
He might. Yeah, no, it's quite possible. Although all the networks have their hands in the postseason pie, do they not? I think ESPN is part of that deal, as is all of the other networks that carry professional football, NFL football. So, it might be busy, but we'll see. And the postseason on tap here, and I would imagine in most every city where the teams didn't qualify, the conversation would be a lot like it was on this show yesterday, which you would have to say was, it's the same old song, is it not?
Yes.
It's the same old song. We've been doing this forever, and I was thinking it's probably not unique to Miami or South Florida, talking about the Dolphins, because the Dolphins have done exactly what they didn't want to do over the course of the last decade.
Yep.
And that is the blessed return to mediocrity.
Yes, they wanted to get out of being mediocre, so all they've done is be continually mediocre.
we can't continue to go 8-8, which now would be like 8-9, possibly, or 7-10. With the added game. It is a little awkward having an uneven number of games in the National Football League. Kind of weird, huh? When are they just going to admit that the whole goal all along was to make it 20 regular season games? Just play it. Let everybody get crushed. But the conversation is the same. And the Miami Dolphins, I mean, how much irony is there in the fact that they did this whole big strip down and the tank job, and there was all the conversation about that and how negative it was, and wow, it's despicable that any franchise would go into a tankathon and just continue to trade off good players to get draft credibility and draft capital, and then do nothing with it essentially. But I mean, the worst of all scenarios, I guess, if they just remained really bad for a long period of time, and we've seen teams do that, like the Philadelphia 76ers. Out of the postseason, drafting 1, 2, 3. Phoenix Suns had that syndrome going for a while, where they were constantly out of the postseason and drafting very highly and never seemed to get it together. How many years have the Sacramento Kings had a top 5 pick in the NBA? And in the NBA, it's even more of an atrocity because one guy can completely change the fortunes of a team. Whereas that's not necessarily the case. You could have the premium quarterback, as the Jacksonville Jaguars did, if you're a lousy team and a poor organization, which is, again, why we keep coming back to our theory, which doesn't seem to gain a whole lot of traction or recognition, does it? It usually floors somebody when we have like an NFL expert guy on, and we run it by him that you should not reward futility. Why should futility be the thing that all teams seek once they realize that they're not going to be championship caliber material? Just shouldn't be the case. But if you're going to constantly give teams, a reward, just a massive possibility of turning their franchise around with a top quarterback pick or a number one pick for losing, then there's all the incentive in the world to go out and do just that. And that doesn't work for me because it seems like those organizations always remain at the very bottom of the pile and do it into perpetuity. Whereas the good organizations, I mean, you have to applaud. I know you hate this, Lubie, but you have to applaud what the Patriots accomplished this year, and especially if they stomp all over the Dolphins like they're expected to do. Although, is there any guarantee on that? The Dolphins are 6.5-point home dogs in this game, off an atrocious performance on the road against Tennessee. And the Patriots come in here with all the incentive in the world because the games are all going off at 4:25 in the AFC, which means they won't know the result of the Bills game. They might be able to do a little scoreboard watching, but the Buffalo Bills would be playing for the AFC Eastern Division title. And what does that really entitle them to, though? I mean, both teams are probably not going to have the bye week.
No, you only get one bye week. Home field for at least one game, right? Like,
yeah.
If you're winning the division, it's getting in a home field, you would think.
That would be advantageous, I would think, because let's face it, there's distinct home field advantages in a few stadiums around the country, and you would have to think that Buffalo enjoys one of them. I don't know what their home record is, but I would imagine it's very favorable over the years. Even when they had lousy teams, they were winning games because it's freaking cold there in September.
Yeah, exactly.
Will I see you in September? Because we're freezing our ass off in Buffalo. You got to love it down here in South Florida, right? I mean, you see that atrocity on 95? Our friend Jim DeFeedy was stuck in that for 18
for like
hours.
a day. Like, what is that? Like, oh my God.
Kind of a big, heavy-set guy, and he's stuck in a small car. I don't know what kind of car he drives. I mean, I imagine he's making some capital. But 17 hours sitting in a car in like 17-degree temperatures, plus the frustration, the anxiety, right? I mean, when a highway's closed and you're stuck in the middle of it and you're thinking, why don't all you guys at the back up? Let me out of here.
That would freak out. I don't even know. 18, 20 hours? Are you kidding me?
Talk about being snookered. I mean, I guess you had a lot in common with the other people that were there, but I mean, at some point, don't you have to fall asleep for a while?
Yes.
And you wake up and your nose is stuck to the windshield.
You're like frozen. Gas last that long? Like, that's crazy.
Not good. But it's cold in Buffalo. They have a distinct home field advantage. I mean, look, everybody's already putting the Packers in the Super Bowl because potentially 2 games, if they win the first one after the bye week, 2 games are going to be played at Lambeau Field. And, you would have to feel that the Green Bay Packers, who are playing well anyway, are going to be exceptionally good under those circumstances in late January in Wisconsin. You heard from Tesla yesterday. He was still defrosting, and he had been back for a week already. Here in South Florida. Just crazy. So, I mean, the Patriots, did they lay an egg in this ball game against the Miami Dolphins? I don't know that's possible to even
consider. They want to win the division. No, they have something to play for. They want to win the division. After the year they had last year to come back and win the AFC East when the Bills were a outright Super Bowl contender, Belichick loves that stuff.
Yeah. That time he had Steven Jackson. He picked him up at like Dandy Donuts in Hallandale. I saw was one on Atlantic Boulevard here in Pompano Beach. And he picks up the guy at a donut shop. The guy's working in the back. Are those bagels ready? Come on, Steven. He had millions of dollars. I don't know where he found Steven Jackson. Was it Steven Jackson? Was that the
Steven Jackson? You got it right. You'll never forget it. You were there. They ran the first.
Well, I started thinking, wait a minute. Steven Jackson is like the basketball player that's on there with that Matt Barnes show that I was watching the other day.
Yes.
Jeannie Buss, kind of an interesting interview. Jeannie Buss. I don't know if we have the pull to get Jeannie Buss on the show, but
try.
It's very interesting the way that she portrayed the odyssey and the history and legacy of Laker basketball during the time that she was an executive there. Of course, her father, Jerry Buss, Dr. Jerry Buss, he changed a lot of things there. Now, there was an owner that had influence, and also he got laid a lot. No. You think that's true, that Mike Tyson was banging a secretary on, like, Jerry Buss's desk?
100%.
That could be.
100%.
Showtime. I mean, you talking about Showtime.
Yeah, they didn't give a shit in the 80s.
Did you read that book that you pilfered from the radio station?
Yep.
You did? Okay. Well, and was that story documented in the book?
Yes, definitely in there.
So you believe it to be true?
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, no, that was crazy. Like, a lot of the stuff, and the Lakers in the 80s were nuts, man. Magic Johnson, like, they didn't give a shit. They had a lot of fun. They had a really good time.
That hotel room in Houston there had to be quite a blast with James Worthy and Magic and like 16 women. That had to be a lot of fun. And they won, though. I mean, they refuted the theory out of Rocky 1. Women weaken legs. Didn't seem to be the case, man. That fast break was a thing of beauty. Maybe one of the most symmetrical things that we've seen in the history of the game of basketball. The Lakers, Showtime Lakers fast break. Phenomenal, right? Magic looking this way, throwing the ball that way, behind his back, through his legs, goes through 6 guys, lands in Worthy's hands, boom, slam dunk. Speaking of slam dunks, we're going to have J Mcguckey on with us. And I started this conversation. I would imagine it's the same chapter and verse that you're hearing recited in almost every city. I mean, if you're tuned in local radio or any kind of podcast, video stream like we're doing, the people are all complaining, hey, you know what, it's so-and-so and this and that. With the Dolphins, though, the reasons read like a scathing indictment, right? Like when they start to read the charges against a bunch of mob bosses that they finally got, on trial, and there's like 80 guys sitting there with oxygen tanks, and they're reading the charges. Mr. Calabrese. Were you also involved in? I mean, it's like the Pentangeli testimony.
Yep.
Crazy stuff. But, I mean, the reasons are just... they're the same, and yet they're monumental. Yep. When you think of all the stupid moves that this team has made, and it really smacks of ugliness that all of a sudden we're applauding the fact that after a tankathon, which took place that was 2 seasons back, where they dumped everybody, and they came back and they had all this draft capital, free agent money, and they made a bunch of moves. Then they undid those moves and came back with this year's team. And yet they're right back where they didn't want to be.
Yes.
500 ball club.
It's pretty impressive.
Not a lot of sizzle. I mean, is there a great incentive to go out there? You could go to a Dolphin game when Danny Boy was chucking a rock, and you knew, wow, I'm going to see something great. Well, we can talk about this with OJ when he comes on the show. J Mcguckey, former Dolphin great, and one of the favorite targets, especially late in his career, of Dan Marino, because he was the one guy he knew could catch the ball.
Exactly. The only guy a lot of the time.
I mean, literally, it was so funny. I had so many perspectives from the sidelines of J Mcguckey making catches in between 4 guys. And, you don't have the luxury of seeing the entire flight of the ball like you do on TV sometimes, and different viewpoints of it. I mean, all of a sudden, you're watching what's going on the field. You see Marino back to pass. You see this laser shot coming. And then in between 4 guys, there's J Mcguckey. And the ball just sticks there like he was Lester Hayes. It's incredible. But, I mean, ever since I think about it, I mean, the stupidity just is baffling, including 4 years of smoking Joe Philbin. Whose idea was that? Was that Stephen Ross?
Ross, yeah, that was Ross. I think Ross and Ross alone. I don't think anyone else.
How could he have sat there and sat across from the table from... Nice guy. I mean, here we go with the qualifiers.
He's a nice man.
Hell of a nice guy. A real gentleman, a guy that you would root for. And yet at the same time, he could not have been any more boring.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me?
Or uninspiring in terms of what you thought you needed in leadership and a leadership position with a team that had been floundering for a long, long time. Floundering. And couldn't get out of its own way. They couldn't shake 8-8. There's no excitement. There's no sizzle. There's no big selling point. Imagine. Worst job in town used to be being a scalper at a Panther game. Nobody gave a crap about hockey down here. I mean, talking about the Florida Panthers for the uninitiated.
Yes.
And the poor schmuck that was out there trying to sell 2 to have somebody come in. I got 2 for Vancouver. Like, what? There's nobody from the west coast of Canada here. They all came from Montreal on the same bus. What are you talking about? Now, that was a terrible job to have. But I think far and away, the worst sports job that you could have in town would be what, Mike Lubitz? Do you have any idea where I'm going with this?
Not really. I'm sort of scared where you're going with this.
I wish I had a telephone here as a prop. All right, pretend I have a telephone. Okay. No, I'd be a marketing person working in the boiler room of the Dolphin ticket sales office, having to call people after this season and going, hey, Joe, how'd you like your seats this year? You want to renew him again for 2022? Going to be a very exciting year of Dolphin football. Oh, yes. You get a free koozie with Stephen Ross's picture on it if you renew right now, but that comes at a little bit of a premium. You might have to pay a little 10% extra charge. Imagine having to make these calls. I mean, you talk about robocalls and scam call likely. I think that happened the other day. I saw a number pop up on the screen. It looked familiar to me, and it was Hard Rock Stadium, where the Dolphins' offices are, and it said scam likely.
Oh my God!
But I mean, how do you sell this direct to people year after year? That was their big problem. They just had no reason to be overwhelmingly enthusiastic about the team. I mean, if you just like to go to NFL games because it's an event, that was it. Now, this is probably happening where? I mean, how many other cities, Lubie? 20?
Tons. Well, look at the Browns. I mean, the Browns were mired in horrible to mediocrity for even longer than the Dolphins, and they actually had hope. Like, we thought we'd make the playoffs. The Browns, people thought could win the division, could be a Super Bowl contender, and they're not any better. They feel like worse than the Dolphins. They're a disaster.
No, it was ugly too. I mean, Baker Mayfield was playing with this torn labrum. Shoulder injury, and he landed on that shoulder during the course of the game in the process of getting sacked for the 9th time. And or he was running. I don't know what he was doing, but you could see he was just writhing in agony, and now he's not going to play. So you have to be very careful, you degenerate sicko gamblers that are forced into action every week. Be very careful. I know there's some meaningful games here, but there are also some very deceptive ones with information that would be necessary to have, probably not available until they actually line up for the first snap. What? Ian Book? Who the hell is he? Where you have no idea who's going to be playing, who's in, who's not. But Mayfield out, and the speculation, Lubie, is that he's likely to be dealt.
Yeah, he's done.
You think he's done in Cleveland?
Well, this is the year they have to give him the big extension, and he's not proven anything. He hasn't gotten better. They haven't gotten better. They've gotten worse. So you might as well just start over. I mean, like, what are you going
to go? The way of Jameis Winston, like a 1-year, small money deal somewhere?
I think someone's going to give him a shot, and we'll see what he can do. I always liked Mayfield, but he's sort of become average to above average. He's never become good to great.
You think Home Depot is also losing interest?
Yeah, what happens with all of his ads? That's the thing. They went all
right. I mean, you end up getting cut, and you're backing up Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville.
How can you have him doing ads if he's not playing?
They have him at the house there trying to sell some weed eater. Get out of here. Madison Avenue will turn their back on his kid in a heartbeat. All right, we're coming back with J Mcguckey, just getting into it here. And also, we're joined later on in the morning by our good friend Tony Segreto. Should have some pretty good insight behind the scenes of the Orange Bowl game. I mean, Tony, nobody was more integrated into what was going on out there than our own Tony Segreto. And Tony's presence on the program brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. I believe Ed Garcia is going to join us here on the show as well.
Yes, he will.
It always makes me hungry, man, at a bad time.
It's morning. We still have like an hour left.
I make my New Year's resolutions every day, Lubie. Every day is a new start. I don't follow them through the day. That's the problem.
I was going to say, do we keep them?
I'm never eating again. I mean, what are the chances of that? And they're even diminished to ridiculously low proportions once Ed Garcia starts talking about anything, right? Whether it's a steak or a sweet potato. Texas Roadhouse Restaurants, great spot. And wow, pretty easy on the wallet. Yep. Which is exceptional now. The food prices soaring. My God.
The inflation's nuts. So thank God for Texas Roadhouse.
I was bitching yesterday on the Mike Mayo Lunchbox show, local radio show here of some distinction. And so I don't know. Chinese condiments in the package probably at least approximate any other condiment that you get in like a little package. Would you agree with that? Okay. Like the Chinese mustard that's in the little cellophane package. Tastes nothing like the mustard they put on the table that you eat like 8,000 noodles while dunking it in there. And eventually you're just taking fistfuls of them and shoving them in your face because you love the mustard so much. And your sinuses are as clear as if you just went to some guy that, went through every nasal cavity that you have and, cleared it out with some amazing amount of suction. But, yeah, I mean, the one in the package that they give you, like when they throw like 11 of them in a bag there with the soy sauce is watered down. It's nothing like actual soy sauce that you would get out of a bottle, right? You get some Kiko Man soy sauce poured on something. Salt City, my friends. You have to call a heart guy, right? Hey, Christian. Talking about Barnard. Can you get him on the phone? Nuts. But no, so I was bitching that I got charged 50 cents for requesting house mustard with my chicken
Oh
fried
my,
rice.
that's so stupid. Whatever.
50 cents for a thimbleful. And now here, I mean, I just blown 250 at the track, like 250. And it offended me, though, that they had this surprise surcharge on Chinese mustard. Get the hell out of here with that. The duck sauce sucks also in the packet. Sucks.
See, I like the packet duck sauce, so you're talking to the wrong person. But the mustard's very different.
Different. It's
mustard,
not even close. What are you talking about?
packet, yeah, it's not the same. I don't
It's
know what they
French's
do.
versus Gouldens. I mean, it's not close. Some people like that. I like that yellow mustard. All right. We got some mustard coming from J Mcguckey. Hialeah Park's got mustard going all the time, man, and that is hot mustard when it comes to the
Yes.
slot play at Hialeah Park. January 28th, circle out on your social calendar. It's going to be El Boxeo, man. I mean, we're talking about top-notch Cuban, real promising, up-and-coming Cuban fighters, and some already well-established. So some competitive bouts. They don't fool around there at Hialeah Park. I love it when you see the upset sometimes of the house fighter, and they're not afraid to put them in there and let them mix it up because the fans there, the Latin fans, they know what they're paying for, and they want to see entertainment. They don't want to see a bunch of setup fights. And so you're going to get competitive action, and that's the way it's been going at Hialeah Park. I cannot wait for the return to be out there ringside and get myself right on the apron. As they just have fabulous seating there, and even if you're in the back row, there is really no nosebleed to speak of, and the graduation of the stands is just perfect, so that it goes all the way back into the dark enclaves there, the back of the grandstand, and you can hear the people and feel the people screaming. It's really fantastic. Great atmosphere for boxing. Check it out at HialeahPark.com for tickets. You can order your tickets right there. The box office is open, as is the casino, 7 days a week till 3 a.m. on the weeknights and 5 a.m. on the weekends, Friday and Saturday, for all your gambling and entertainment fun. It's Hialeah Park. All right, we're coming back with J Mcguckey in just a minute. Get OJ's insights into what's going on in the NFL and maybe what's at the bottom. See, I don't know if there's anything really wrong with the Dolphins, except they're not really that good of a team. I mean,
they need more talent. Yeah, that's their problem.
I mean, you could criticize anybody; it doesn't really matter because just collectively, they're not that good of a team.
No, they're not.
I think that's fairly apparent.
Yeah.
All right, coming back with more here on Eye on Channel. Once again, thanks, Brad, for getting us going today. I can't imagine if you called me at 6:30, Lubie, even though we're on the air.
I texted him, but he responded very swiftly, which I was sort of impressed by and shocked at. So thank you, Brad.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're calling me and we're a half hour away from airtime, and I'm thinking, okay, this can't be good, I'm not answering the phone. 6:30 in the morning. I don't answer it much anyway. All right, we're coming back with more in a moment. Now that the time. Glad to have you guys with us here. It's 7:32. Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant. And you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style. And you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Hey, it's Mike Mayo for Even Keel Fish Shack, corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard at Lauderdale by the Sea. It's my favorite place now for great seafood in a casual beachfront setting. They've got happy hour 4 to 7 Monday through Friday. They've got great dishes like grilled oysters and oysters on the half shell, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, octopus. They also have burgers and chicken for those who don't like the seafood. They're open 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack, go say hi to Dave and Brad and tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. We welcome to the show Jan Kajemi, who joined.
You know what I'm gonna do? Because you don't ever give me a fair shake. You know that? So I'm gonna go and let you talk to Victor Ortiz, all right? I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you
talking about? You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know about boxing. You ain't You're not
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
The modern day odd couple, Defo and Lubie, are on now. It is, of course, the Defo Show.
Another ring classic here on the Defo Show. Jeff Deforrest, Mike Lubitz with you. I on channel. Very happy to be with you. Video, audio streaming. Google the Defo Show. You can find us. Find the entire archives of Defo shows. We started somewhere mid-October.
Yes.
So here we are cruising into 2022 and feeling pretty good about it. J Mcguckey is actually going to be about 10 minutes away from joining us here on the program as he'll be coming your way, I would say, right around 7:50.
He takes
this morning if you're on the East Coast.
Which is interesting. I always forget that. He takes his son to school. So good for him. He's a very involved dad. So on his way back, he will get on with us.
He's also a guy, I think he's bowled a couple of 300 games.
Yes.
He's
a very well-rounded athlete. He's a great golfer. He's a great bowler. I think he played some baseball. Like he's done everything.
Played baseball at Penn State. Yeah, I think he led Penn State in stolen bases one year. I read that stat somewhere, dug it up as we were researching the appearances of J Mcguckey on a program. So he's going to be joining us in a few minutes, and we can continue to examine the impossible questions, which are when is it going to change? I guess that would be the question.
We've been asking that question.
What's it going to take? You're probably asking that. Look, both the New York teams are staggering and probably have more monumental problems than the Miami Dolphins. I'm beginning to believe this. I know it's cliche, Lubie, and you're probably going to bite my head off for even suggesting this. I kind of was formulating this opinion during our conversation yesterday with Jan Kajemi.
Okay.
Because I haven't been able to kind of define what it is that Brian Flores does as a head coach. No, I really don't. And now we have seen some example of it. Now he's had a lot of turnover among his assistant coaches, which I don't know. What does that say? That he is dissatisfied with the guys that he brought in and has a short fuse and, maybe just doesn't take a lot of input from these guys and decides to get rid of them instead. Or maybe, I don't know, is he impossible to work for? And these guys, find themselves always at odds and with a lot of acrimony and a lot of stress. I mean, you know how this is in this business.
Yep.
When the program director used to show up in the control room there and give you that face, you were like, I don't think I can work like this. An old contemporary of mine many years ago, actually, he far exceeded in terms of prominence here as a broadcaster in South Florida. A guy named Don Cox. You remember Cox on the radio?
Yes. He's a legend.
Yeah. One time, I mean, he was kind of screwed up. I mean, he was like basically coked out that morning, And, guys were coming in with new supplies right into the control room. And the program director was a real quiet person who rarely said anything to anybody, but every now and then would reduce you to mouse shit, but with a scathing memo. This was before emails, were popular and even were in existence. And so you get a written letter there, and you would read it, and it'd be like a page and a half, neatly presented and typed. And you'd read it and go, "Wow, I really do suck. I shouldn't be in this job." Now, that was one thing. I mean, to take that kind of criticism off the air, and I don't know. We're very sensitive people that perform. Do you find yourself to be a little sensitive to criticism, Lubie?
Look, I saw something the other day, and it's like, why would you take someone's opinion that you don't trust them as credible? Well, because in the moment, it's hard not to. Like some random guy on Twitter bitching about me. Yeah, honestly, he has 8 followers, so why should I give a shit? But in the moment, it stings.
Yeah, nobody likes to hear lousy things about themselves.
You
I
suck.
mean, is there anybody out there that is that much of a sadomasochist that, hey, hit me, beat me, call me bitch? No.
I guess. I
You,
don't
you,
know.
you don't want that. We're particularly sensitive. Anyway, Cox, he was very established. He was making really good money. He was in the heyday here of the whole, like, I guess that would be a pop era
The
where,
DJ.
you had these top 40 stations were just killing it. I mean, they were the most popular things. And you had Madonna and Boy George and all of these tunes playing constantly. And a lot of music like that was very, very popular. A couple of competing stations. So he comes over, and I end up working with him. And the program director on this particular morning, when he was a complete basket case, I mean, he was screwing up everything. And you had to fire up your own carts and stuff in there. It wasn't like everything was automated like it is today.
Yeah.
And so, you could hear the carts dropping on the floor. And, the timing was way off. He was off mic half the time. He, forgot to turn the mic on or off. So you're hearing this stuff during the song that he's saying, "Man, my bombed." The guy comes in there, and he gives him an appropriate amount of I would say shit.
What the hell?
And after he leaves, Cox could have cared less, right? He doesn't miss a beat doing what he was doing, even though he was bumbling at it at the time. And he says to me, "You know what, Defo? I'm going to tell you this one time, and that is number one rule of thumb for management: don't freak the talent."
Yeah, exactly.
While they're on the air.
At least wait till off air.
Yeah. Don't make a face in the window. We don't want that. Don't freak the talent.
Yeah, please.
That would be, the number one rule of thumb there for anybody that's going to be successful in management in this business. Anyway, I mean, all that being said, it's really crazy to think that you're going to end up having that same conversation. I mean, without J Mcguckey, I can't even bring these things up. Can you? We could have Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that you like doing that. The lamenting thing bothers me, except for like the picks that are recent that at the time you knew was bad. Like the Igbo pick at the time, I was like, what the fuck? Like he's like the 10th corner on the board, and you're drafting him in the first round. Like what?
Once in a while, you know what? I don't know. If a guy takes a shot once in a while and he's wrong. I mean, it happened to Jimmy, right? John Avery. That was a huge mistake. Didn't he end up being like, he hate me?
He never did anything.
In the XFL, John Avery. When last seen, he was scrambling for a football as they started off an XFL game with 3 guys suffering traumatizing and permanently damaging concussions. Nice going, Vince. They're bringing that back. The thirst for football, it never subsides, Mike Lubitz. They're bringing that back. It's going to be kind of crazy. In almost every category, front office, right? Bozos. Mike Tannenbaum had just buried a franchise.
Yeah.
Buried it.
Yes. Yeah. Send him
The
back.
New York Jets, they haven't recovered from Tannenbaum.
No.
We have Chris Landry on the show. He's a cat that does some scouting in the National Football League, and very authoritative. Would you say that Chris Landry is very succinct? You know where he's coming from.
Well, he doesn't mess
Right.
around. He's been doing football for 30 years, so like he doesn't have time to mess around.
And he takes a while to explain his position on things, which is fine with me because, you're looking at the clock going, man, that guy just killed like 5 minutes with one answer.
He's entertaining to me.
Covered the entire history of the National Football League. You got to be careful about doing that in a question, Lubie, where you go into the entire history of the league and then you go, so what do you think about that? And the guy's like, I think you said it all. That would be about it. But Landry, I mean, usually, I mean, he won't necessarily come straight out and say, that this guy is a fool, will he?
Well,
I don't know if that's true.
There's one guy he hasn't had a problem saying that about.
You mentioned Mike Tannenbaum and this guy, and wow, he goes berserk.
He's quick.
How is that man qualified to be an executive in anything?
He hated Tannenbaum.
And of course, all failed executives or coaches become commentators and experts on ESPN.
Exactly. Well, what's funny is what Mike Westhoff said the same thing about Tannenbaum. He's like, I love Tannenbaum when he's the numbers guy, but the minute he took over personnel, he was a disaster. Like he was an idiot.
The biggest mistake that Tannenbaum made was attempting to field that punt while somebody had a camera on him. And you're looking and going, this guy is an athletic putz. Not that you have to be Michael Jordan to be able to judge basketball talent. I mean, you should have, some feel for what it is that these people are doing, though. I mean, like even the slightest, even if you played like in grade school, something. Yes. And when you watch a guy, it just it looked like the ball was going to hit him in the head, right?
He's never caught
now, granted, it's probably not that easy. I mean, J Mcguckey can speak to this. I'm always amazed at these guys at the last second. They start waving their arm to signal for a fair catch. The ball is up in the lights there.
Yep.
And maybe like while it's in the air for 4.5 seconds, hang time in Buffalo, it goes through 3 complete weather changes. Time zones are crossed. And a guy's standing on an air, and there are now 11 guys standing right in front of him. And they're all saying, I'm going to kill you and eat your children.
Exactly.
And he waves his arm in the air at the last second and boom, plops right into his hands.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. That doesn't seem as easy as it looks. But when Tannenbaum did it, though,
good.
There was no such pressure. It was just, don't look like a dorky fool if then you're going to tell players that they're not worth the money that they're asking for. And you're going to justify that by your knowledge of athletic ability. Anyway, he ruined, this franchise for a long period of time, did he not, Mike Tannenbaum? Foolish moves.
I mean, they were already
that accomplished nothing.
He just didn't help it, and he did a lot of the stuff he did with the Jets, where he spends really big. So you're now in cap trouble too.
Yes,
so you have to.
And this is the numerology guy that was getting you in this hideous position against the salary cap, to where you were crippled for years.
Yes.
Stephen Ross was having to sell shopping centers in Coral Gables just to pay the tax on this team that was going 8-8. Well, I mean, that's unfortunate. Like I said, that's probably a story that's being echoed in all over the country in different cities. Except I would imagine, I don't know, did the Chargers have any fans anywhere? The San Diego fans are no longer enamored with the Chargers, I would imagine. I mean, they left the place. And in San Diego, you really don't have the energy to care about the local football team. I mean, I could see why they're blasé. Tony Gwynn can win the MVP and power the San Diego Padres to a World Series. There'd still be 8 guys there lining up going, can you put some sprouts on that? No, alfalfa on a hot dog. They wouldn't eat a hot dog there. Dodger dog, I guess, would be the exception. But San Diego, they really don't care. But they have no fans in L.A. You ever watch games with the Chargers when they're playing in Los Angeles now? What is that, SoFi Stadium?
Yeah.
SoFi Stadium. And it was Kroenke who moved the Rams there, right, that built that thing. So the Chargers are just, I mean, they're redheaded stepchildren, as Mark Lawrence would say. They're just there, and, they haven't, got any fans, no fans whatsoever. Whenever you see a game there, the other team
has all
completely encompasses, the entire number of seats sold in the stadium. All right, this is great, and we love this guy. I don't know how many he's done. I think he's right up there with Don Carter, maybe even the recently departed brilliant bowler and a nice Jewish kid from Brooklyn, Mark Roth. I don't know how many 300 games Roth had. It had to be a good number. And, of course, he was the one guy that converted a 7-10. I don't know the one guy, the first to convert a 7-10 split on TV, Lubie. Imagine that.
Wow.
Total luck out, man. I mean, he crushed the 10-pin and hit the wall and on a fluke circumstance, rolled across the lanes there and took out the 7. But if anybody could do that among the people that we know, it would be this man, J Mcguckey. former Dolphin great, Penn State star, joins us here on the show. Juice, how are you, my friend?
What's going on, fellas? Good morning.
Oh, Jay.
Good morning to you. Did you make a successful drop at school, or I mean, what happens now when you drop a kid off at school? Did you have to have them go through testing areas, and the commissioner meets you, superintendent meets you out there, and does a I mean, what's the deal?
No, no, but they're definitely masked up. Headed into school, man. It's doing pretty good so far. This school's been really, really good. In terms of, keeping the kids as socially distanced as possible and, haven't had any outbreaks, knock on wood.
How many 300s is it, OJ, that you've balled in your lifetime?
One? He made it like 25.
Yeah, and I got 299 twice. It means I choked twice.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I choked.
Was it a choke or just a tap? I mean, you can throw a perfect strike ball and still get robbed.
Annoying.
Well, the first 299, I got lucky because it was a bad ball. The second 299, I got hosed for sure. That was a
yeah.
It was dead in the pocket. It was a flush, probably the best ball. I thought it was the best ball I threw all night. Left a solid 10-10 though.
Yeah, every now and then you see, the 6 fails to take out the 7, and that's it, man. You're finished. I mean, or the 10, and then you're finished, and you're sitting there looking at that ringing 10 pin. It's ugliness. All right, you have the bowling thing coming up, though. I wanted to get into that before we get into this Dolphin mess and the rest of the NFL.
Yes, we have our annual Strikes for Kids event for Catch 81 Foundation. It's February 20th at Spares and Davie, and it's a star-studded, man. Usually get a lot of my former teammates out, a few current guys out. Marino comes and shows his face every once in a while.
Get out of here.
You all come out. Yeah, so it's pretty cool, man. It's a fun event, and a great opportunity to come out. And what the best thing about it, though, Defo, is that, a lot of people do golf tournaments with bowling. You can bring your whole family to bowl. No spectators. We can't have any spectators because of COVID. But if you're bowling, you can bring the whole family because it doesn't matter if you're good or bad or indifferent about bowling.
Very nice, man. I know you're very enthusiastic about it. It's great that you're into the sport, and then of course benefiting, many charitable efforts through your hard work, OJ. Very, very noble on your behalf. All right, help us out here. What happened? Because I keep referencing, the largest egg I ever saw was when the monster, the horror character Rodan, a giant bird, which was a big scary thing in my childhood. Used to go against like Godzilla in epic battles and King Kong. But this was a Rodan-sized egg that the Dolphins laid once again. We saw the same platform in front of them last year, and they got crushed like a grape in Buffalo. And then this year, at their moment of truth, which they had worked very hard to get back to, regardless of the skimpy-looking schedule that they played against, they just weren't there.
Yeah, and I was shocked by that. I was shocked by that. I thought, the momentum was so good, and the team was playing at such a high level. It's tough. I was very, very, very critical after the game, and I'm still upset about it. Because I'm a fan, as you know. I'm a huge fan, and it was upsetting to see it that way. But I was shocked that they played so bad. Especially, offensively. We've seen these roller coaster rides, plays here and there, and then for 3 series, it seems like. But for defense to get ran up and down the way they did, and make Ryan really only threw for 120 yards and, a couple touchdowns. But, everything was pretty short and sweet. But he didn't have to do much else. He's the same thing that he's looking for here. Carry the team, but make sure he doesn't mess it up. And as an offense, we messed it up real bad, man. Missed some opportunities, turned it over, penalties. It was just ugly. And then the defense just got worn down. They did as much as they could for as long as they could and got worn down. So I never expected to see it that bad. I don't know. They talk about the weather. Man, Defo, we played in some worse weather than that. That's nothing right there. So, if the guys are worried about the weather or staying warm or staying dry, then that's a bigger issue that we need to address. But we do play against 3 teams that live in the Northeast. So, please, the weather's going to be worse moving forward, especially if you ever make the playoffs, it's going to get even worse.
Well, and that was my thing. We're talking with J Mcguckey, Miami Dolphins great, NFL great, co-host of the Fish Tank 81 podcast. Follow him up on Twitter at J Mcguckey 81. Juice, you're from the Ohio area. You played in Pennsylvania, and then you played your NFL career here in Miami. some of the worst weather everywhere. And it seemed like the weather really got to Tua and the receivers with the drops. And I don't get that. Isn't South Florida as bad as it gets when it comes to weather? Like rain is something we should be used to down here. And it seemed like they had no idea what the hell they were doing, which I don't get it.
Yeah. You know what? I wonder how often they go inside when it rains. You know what I mean?
Guess.
Instead of getting that work done in those elements. I remember, before we had a bubble, I mean, we did wet ball drills. We're playing up in New England. It's going to be raining that weekend. Every day after practice, we had wet ball drills. Quarterbacks are dipping them in buckets of water and throwing them to receivers, and you find a way to catch it. And here's the thing about it, man. People, when the ball's coming your way, you don't always have to catch it with your hands, especially in bad weather. Just catch the damn ball. You know what I mean? If you got to use every inch of your body, your gut, everything about it, man, just find a way to get it caught. So everybody wants to, sit there and try to use their hands a lot of times. When the weather's bad, man, just find a way to get it caught. And I worry about that sometimes. Guys worry about perception. The hell with perception, man. Catch the damn ball.
As dangerous as it was with you stepping over the middle against just the most physical defensive backs and linebackers in the league, it was equally adventurous on your part, OJ, to step into the Sports Talk Forum and take calls on the Miami Dolphins and what ailed them over the years. And it does seem like we've been crying the same old song for a long period of time. And what struck me today is I was, just kind of winding my way through a couple of thoughts about it. Whereas we're right back. I mean, with the Tankathon, it was to dodge mediocrity. That was the conversation forever. That the thing that was holding the Dolphins back is they weren't that bad. So they were never in a position to get that one hot guy that was going to come in and, transform their franchise into a long-term perennial winner. And, here we are after just sacrificing a couple of seasons coming in. And, it's the same story. You're still sitting there at 8-8.
Yeah, it is. It's so frustrating. I think what's more frustrating is you see other teams that are coming up that, started to rebuild the same time we did. You look at a Cincinnati Bengals team or, you see some of these other teams with young quarterbacks that are going to make the playoffs. Even Philadelphia Eagles, have an opportunity. That's more upsetting than anything because you're right, man. We started, it seemed like we started our rebuild when we did everything with all the players that we let go or traded away and got all those picks and, brought in a couple of free agents, but we had all the draft picks and all these guys. And, by this time we should be gelling, but, it does. The same old story. It's like Groundhog Day, unfortunately. And, for us fans, man, I hate that holiday.
Yeah.
All right, so what's the answer? I mean, Lubie's been calling for the head of Chris Greer forever. Brian Flores now impresses me in this sense that if the players aren't all that great, he does something where, I mean, he went with this very aggressive approach defensively, and maybe that hid some of the flaws and took advantage of some of the good things that his defense had. He has a couple of really good cover corners, and the safeties have held up well. And so by putting this immense pressure on the quarterback, he managed to make a bunch of guys that may not have collectively been all that great, collectively good. So, I mean, that's good coaching, is it not? And he does kind of play to his strengths offensively, although to his strengths may not be expansive enough to be the kind of quarterback that everybody's looking for that can overcome adverse situations and carry a team occasionally to a win.
Yeah, I think defensively, I mean, they count on what they do with their blitz packages and the zero blitz and a lot of man coverage they play. They count on getting teams in, third and long and third and tough situations. One thing Tennessee didn't do was they didn't put themselves in bad situations. They were always in run pass opportunity downs, which which really mitigates the blitzing that we do, because you do blitz and you miss your gap. We saw us get gouged. We brought 8-9 guys on the line of scrimmage, and then you're not in your gap, and you saw the big runs that happened, especially towards the end of the game. And that's the thing, they want to play defense, play field position, and then, hopefully give us shorter field. We're not built to go 80 yards on a drive. The longer drive goes, and we obviously put together long drives because we don't, go vertical a lot. Yeah. The bigger chance something bad is going to happen. And I think that's what happens very often. We might put, 5, 6, 7 plays together. It's only for like 30 yards, and we end up having fun or turn it over. Yep. So it does play into his hands. But when our defense can't give us short fields or give us a takeaway, then we're in trouble with an offense. Sure.
Lubie claims to have averaged 200 as a high school bowler.
So 190
playing for Piper High School.
It wasn't the high school.
So what's the date again? Because I think I don't know what it costs, to get into this thing, but I want to enter Lubie. And is it a tournament format? I mean, are people playing for distinctions of any kind, first, second, third place?
There's team trophies. So there's team trophies. First place gets a trophy. High bowler gets a trophy and things like that. We don't give any participation trophies or anything like that.
All right.
And second place doesn't get anything, and third place doesn't get anything. It's only about the winners. So, Lubie, if I can put you on a solid team, man, you might be able to come home with some hardware.
Okay.
He would need like Marshall Holman in his prime. What are you talking about? Don Carter couldn't salvage his.
Average it out for it.
You're the worst.
Where was he bowling 200s? I mean, what scoring system was he using? I don't know.
That's when you had to write it down, right? Lubie would,
exactly
with an eraser, right?
There you go.
Exactly. All of a sudden, those sixes became spares, which was great. Juice, and the date again is what? And how can people get involved in this thing? Because I know it's great, and then you do a terrific job.
Thanks, Devo. It's February 20th. It says spares, and you can look at our log on our website at catch81foundation.org.
All right, Juice, man.
All right, very good. Thanks, Juice. Thanks for taking time to be with us this morning. Always a pleasure, my friend. J Mcguckey. He can make those catches. I kept thinking Rick Weaver when he was talking about how you have to catch the ball any way you can, not necessarily with your hands.
He's like, who cares about the weather? And I'm like,
well, Penn State was no bargain weather-wise. I can assure you.
Penn State, he's from Ohio, and he played here. So that's why he's like, what's this? Just catch the ball.
And, you would have Rick Weaver always saying whenever somebody made like a hideous drop or fumbled the football, it slipped out of there like a wet watermelon seed. That's some old school stuff there, Brad Lubie.
Yes, it is.
I don't know. Does it hold up today if some guy came on a broadcast and said, hey, look at that, Lou. Slipped out of there like a wet watermelon seed?
I guess
you got to come up with something different. All right, Tony Segreto joins us. He goes old school. Speaking of old school, always great having Tony on the show, and it's brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants, Catholic Health Services, terrific people that took care of my mom, and wow. Can't say enough good things about Catholic Health Services. Tony's right around the corner. He was right there, Lubie, sniffing it out behind the scenes at the Orange Bowl. I want to find out what went on there. What happened to Michigan? Were they out partying? I mean, Tony would have had, privy to this information, I would think. So we'll find out. We'll get to the bottom of what happened in the Orange Bowl game and, of course, other things. But Tony Segreto joins us next here on the Defo Show on ION Channel, Hialeah Park. Don't forget about the boxing tickets, hialeahpark.com, January 28th. Is a date to circle on your calendar. And, of course, we always pay homage to the great people at Deal Volkswagen, whose tickets I'll be using to sit there. I don't know. Maybe I suggest that Mustang goes with a friend to the Patriots game. Not really necessarily into like schlepping down there for like 3 hours to watch mediocrity. All right, back with more in a moment with Tony Segreto. Now that. The time. 8:02.
Hey there, it's Mike Mayo. Do you like steaks? Do you like seafood? Do you like classic old Florida charm? You could get that all and more at Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of 95. The Studiali family, they've been running the place a long time. It's been there more than 70 years. And it is now a place you can get early bird specials along with steaks to take home and throw on the grill yourself at the Butcher Shop. That's open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. It's open for dinner every night starting at 4:30, but they are closed on Sundays. Go to Tropical Acres. It's a place to go for a great meal, great people, good value. Tropical Acres.
The championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat, 24/7, Catholic Health Services.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
What we gonna do right here is go back, way back into time.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto. Brought to you by Catholic Health Services and Texas Roadhouse.
Tell me, doctor, where are we going this time?
That was a long enough pause there as we majored in dead air there for a few seconds to be cause for concern and possible alarm. I was just about to pick up the phone and say, help, somebody help.
Hey,
Welcome to our
listen.
show. Yes.
Listen, with Alberto Tomba running the show, otherwise known as Lubie, or
Yes.
otherwise known as Dick Carter, what was it? The
Don
famous
Carter.
Don Carter, the famous bowler. So we have a very Renaissance type guy producing the show, right? Lubie, also known as Alberto Tomba, who came back from his skiing vacation.
There was no snow.
Yeah,
No snow.
unharmed. What did you ski on then? Rocks?
It was very low snow, so they created one slope, which worked for me. But yes, I don't think the normal skier would have been happy with that. But we survived. We're here.
Lubie breaking an interior or tearing an interior cruciate on the bunny slope.
Did
not
you-
exactly world Olympic class.
Did you look like a skier? Or did you look like some schlep from Miami with chains on and
A little both.
Everybody rents the outfits, Tony. You know that. Everybody looks great when they do it. And it's just you look like a bozo as soon as you get off the chairlift and fall down. And the guy looks at you like, who is this putz? And there it is. Hey, Lubie. Yeah, don't worry. It'll be easy to get up. That's what they tell you.
Yeah, is there anything worse than that?
Tony, how are you, my friend? Tony
doing
Segreto with us
great.
here.
I'm
Brought to
doing
you by
great.
Texas Roadhouse Restaurants and Catholic Health Services. And looks like you're in your digs back in Vermont. I mean,
Yep.
you didn't get enough of the cold last year?
Nope, it came back for a little bit more. Did for a little bit more anyway. Had to
All right.
figure some things out and finish some things up rather, and enjoy part of the winter. So I enjoy. I'm one of those weird guys that enjoy winter. So
Yeah, a day of it here and there probably isn't too bad. But I don't know that I want the constant carnage that comes along with it in terms of weather. I'd much rather be out there at the beach or playing tennis. All right, so you were behind the scenes here, and we both liked Michigan in this game, the Orange Bowl game, which you're on the Orange Bowl committee, and were involved in many of the events, and you got to meet a lot of the dignitaries and talk to the coaches. I would imagine even some players. So the question of the day would be, Tony Segreto, what the hell happened out there?
who the heck knows? I was absolutely, the Alabama game kind of went like I thought it did. I thought Cincinnati did okay.
They were hanging in there.
Yeah, I thought they handled the stage well. I thought they competed well. I think their offense let them down, but I mean, they weren't just totally blown out like Michigan was. Boy, oh boy, you got to knock me over. And again, we had talked about this last week and the week before. We both love Michigan. They came in with great momentum, with a lot of confidence, but it was just as if Georgia came out and smacked them around, and they went, "Holy Lord, what are we going to do now?" And they could never recover. They just never could take that pendulum and swing the momentum back toward themselves. They were just getting it. It was like Muhammad Ali just having an absolute field day with Jerry Quarry. I mean, it was exactly like
to bring
that.
up Quarry. I mean, he took more beatings on ESPN Classics. I mean, it's amazing that he had enough brain power to make it to 50.
Didn't Michigan take the beating?
Yeah.
I mean, they literally took the beating. I mean, I can't think of a better analogy, because they just were smacked around. And again, I know probably, going into this, people said, "Oh, we don't want to see Alabama, Georgia again." But I think now there's enough excitement over this to see what Georgia team is going to show up.
Yeah.
How many times have we heard analysts, coaches, players say it's hard to beat a team twice in the same year? It's even more difficult to beat a team twice within a 2-month period. So, but if anybody can do it, we know who can.
Yeah.
Don't bet against the devil, Tony. And this was one of the things that struck me as being a little bit odd. Alabama had just beaten Georgia by 17 points. We've been talking about this yesterday and throughout the week. And, there was a reason to believe that they figured out a way that Georgia's whatever flaws they have, which seem to be impossible to find before, all of a sudden were exposed radically, that they were having trouble defending the passing game of Alabama. And neither team, I guess, is going to be able to run the ball successfully. Is that the common wisdom? So you're going to have Alabama passing the ball again. Why is Georgia favored in this ball game coming out of the chute?
So our son was here, and I said, by the way, did you see the line yet on the Georgia Alabama game? He goes, "No, not yet." He goes, "I got to be." He says, "Dad, I got to believe Alabama's favored by
maybe pick them even."
Yeah,
would be
right.
Not unbelievable.
When we looked at that line, it was like, you've got to be kidding me. How does this happen? Right. And as you well know, Jeff, it's hard to debate the odds makers, because they're usually pretty much spot on. I mean,
how they come up with these numbers,
they get cut off, every once in a while. But man, oh man, I have to tell you, I thought that it's interesting, because we were all, my son and daughter and I are, we're huge sports fans, and their acumen is quite high, and we're going, gosh, I wish we could have just one game that's competitive. And then we got it. We got the Notre Dame Oklahoma State game was competitive. I thought there were a couple other games that were competitive, but
Ohio State and Utah was a great game also, back to back classics.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was fun to see those games, and we can't, we put so much emphasis on the semifinal game, so much emphasis on the finals. That we forget that there are these other teams that are playing, that are good teams, that are always in the top 10, like Ohio State, Utah, teams like that really are worth watching. Yeah, again, we have to take with a grain of salt. They're playing with a lot of guys that have opted out. They haven't played in a month, but nonetheless, I mean, it's still good football, and it's better than some of the NFL games we're getting. That's for sure. And I think that those are the ones that are fun to watch.
Mike Gundy in the second half of that ball game with Oklahoma State.
Oh,
now he put the hurry up offense on fentanyl in the second half of that game.
Did he not? Did he not?
I mean, you could have Leach. I guess he gets a playoff every 25 seconds, and that's like second fastest or biggest, number of plays, largest number of plays that they get in the game. I have never seen a hurry up, and all the way through the second half that was executed like that. It was incredible.
You understand what they do at practice, right? They time each play out, right? So they figure it out how this is how we're going to do it. And if they don't meet that time, they'll do it again until they get the feel of what that time should be. So by the time they get to the game, they understand, while they don't have a stopwatch in their hand, they understand the speed in which they need to get up to the line, and all of these. It was remarkable to me. It really was. I was tired watching it, for goodness sake.
It was amazing.
I was out of breath.
And then Notre Dame is still in there with,
still fighting
a slim
away.
shot at the very end of the ball game when they get the ball back, with like a minute or so to go, and they're only down 6 points. because they managed to, hold them to field goals a couple of times when that offense in the second half for Oklahoma State was so outstanding. And of course, you're thinking to yourself, geez, they would have been a lot better than Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Going against
exactly.
Alabama, why did they have to go out there and schnorr it up and lose that last game in the championship game?
Exactly. And I couldn't agree with you more. And I think that one of the things that I really enjoyed over this past holiday bowl period is that watching some of these really new young coaches that we're going to get an opportunity to see, and some of the older ones who are still innovative in what they do. I was, even though Notre Dame lost, I thought Marcus Freeman, his first time out with a bunch of guys not playing, did a heck of a job with his club, getting him back, keeping him in it, all those things. You talk about Mike Gundy sort of reinventing that speed game. It just, it was fun. It was fun to watch all of these teams and all of these coaches. And I give Harbaugh credit after the game. I thought he was contrite, and he was honest and gave all the credit to where the credit should go, and that was to Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs. They were quite something on New Year's Eve. But I don't like these New Year's Eve games. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Man, oh man, that's just
kind of compromises your chances of watching them if you're going to have any kind
of
celebration. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people though probably were taking advantage of the fact that they could watch that game at Texas Roadhouse and their various locations around the country. And you talk about the perfect execution of a hurry-up offense. That would be the service and the way they treat everybody at Texas Roadhouse. Ed Garcia, regional manager for Texas Roadhouse, joins us here on the Defo Show. Ed, how are you, my friend? I know it probably took a while to recover from that Michigan loss.
Hello, Ed, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now, bud.
Oh, excellent. Yes. I couldn't be more proud, though, of the year. I mean, if you think back a year ago, Michigan wasn't even ranked in the top 25 in the AP poll. Out of 125 teams, they're now all the way down here. They made it to the college football playoffs, won the Big Ten championship. They got a Heisman runner-up with Aiden Hutchinson. And Jim Harbaugh won AP Coach of the Year. I mean, there's so much to be proud of. And we learned so much from that game that we're just going to be bigger, stronger, faster next year and continue to learn and build forward. But hats off to Georgia. They played an outstanding game. They definitely deserve that win. And, we'll see them, coming up here in the playoffs and see how they do versus Alabama.
I'm assuming you had quite a tailgate spread for this game, man. I may be wrong, but I have a feeling that was quite a tailgate spread.
100%. I couldn't be more impressed and amazed on how much maize and blue there was. There was a message out there for, all the alum and anybody on Facebook about Maize Out Miami. And I'm going to safely say 80% of the stadium and the tailgate was 100% maize. Wow. It was really, really cool. So much energy, chanting, cheering, all the way from the outside, all the way in. Really, really cool experience. And, of course, there was 12 of us having a great time. We brought some cornhole and got to enjoy that great Florida weather. And we were sitting right outside those front doors. I mean, it was a really cool experience.
Well, I have to tell you guys, we talk about the restaurant all the time and all of the great things you can get at the restaurant. I tried out something for the first time this past week. We had the Texas Roadhouse steaks shipped to us, and we had the what was it, Ed? The prime top steak you could get. And
ribeye.
Yeah, the ribeye. It was phenomenal. It came in this unbelievable styrofoam packet. It came, freeze dried. It was incredible. I urge people, if you are looking to have a party and you want to get some steaks and you're not near a Texas Roadhouse and you can get them sent in, this is the way to go, because Ed, I have to tell you, what a great business for Texas Roadhouse. These steaks were absolutely incredible, and it comes with the Texas Roadhouse seasonings. All you have to do is add a little, some of the mashed potatoes with it and a few other accoutrements on the side and a good beverage, and you are set to go.
100% agree. It is a really cool gift and a great way to treat yourself. These steaks, even though you're not getting them from Texas Roadhouse, are still hand cut, and the quality is absolutely fantastic. We do kind of a flash freeze, so that way it's safe for shipping. We send them out every single Monday, so they show up in the middle of the week in case there's any issues being delivered, so that way they're going to get safe to you. You can get filet, you can get the regular ribeye, And if you want to be extra fancy, go ahead and get that bone-in ribeye. It's got that bone. They average a little over 20 ounces, but it is such a great cut of meat. That bone-in ribeye has so much flavor because it is marbled so well. It is really a fantastic steak, and you get to try your grilling skills and have some fun.
It was great, and it was wonderful. And once again, Texas Roadhouse is still open for business, and you can also get pickup there. You can use their app, and don't forget, when you go, you need to get the sweet potatoes, and you need to get those.
Eddie, how are the Segreto seats? That's the magic question. This guy's connected with the top guys at the Orange Bowl, and he, we say generously offered up all of these seats. How were they? I mean, could you see the game, or were you blocked by somebody with a big hat in front of you?
Well, there was this 6-foot pole in front of us. Were absolutely fantastic. I didn't tell the party I was with where we were sitting, and as we kept walking down, they were like, "Oh my gosh, are we going to sit on the player bench?" So that's how cool and how close those seats were.
Nice.
We got to see. We were right by the tunnel where Michigan came out. Georgia was right on the opposite side, so it was really cool to kind of watch them come out and see that energy. Right there and kind of live it. So very, very cool seats, great seats.
All right, excellent stuff. I'm glad you were well accommodated there at the ball game. Thought he was going to say that Harbaugh waved him on down onto the field. That's always a pleasure. It probably could have taken a couple of snaps there. It could have hurt Michigan's chances.
Listen, talk about old school. Defo, Lubie, and please, I'm not excluding you here, but Defo, in our day, didn't you always have that sort of fantasy that you'd be at a Yankee game, especially, and there'd be an injury on the field, and they'd be, "Will Jeff Deforrest please
climb over
down
the wall there? Replace Hector Lopez?"
Yeah, exactly, in the outfield. Would Tony Segreto please come down here? We have a jersey for you. We need somebody to play. I mean, there was always that. Do you think that could ever happen?
Well, Rudy, sort of happened for Rudy, and he was offsides on that play. I mean, it was despicable. Once again, Notre Dame getting favoritism from the officials. I mean, come on, he was offsides, Tony. All right, we're coming back with more in a moment. Remember, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, mile marker 104. You want to chill out, and maybe a great place to watch all of the playoff games, too. They remodeled the sports bar there, and they do a great job with the food and drink, and the service is top-notch. Have excellent accommodations, very, very unusual and unique. Not your typical Keys thing, where you get to the room there, it's $320 a night, and you say, front desk, this looks nothing like the brochure. Things are crawling all over the place. No, these are spectacular accommodations. So check that out online at jimmyjohnsonsbigchill.com. Larry Calvano, the crew down there, of course, Dominic and Jemmy involved, and his lovely wife. They really do put their heart and soul into it, and you can party until the moon is fully in focus as they're singing well into the night there. At Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, mile marker 104 in Key Largo. Just, as soon as you pop out of Florida City, you're thinking, we're almost at the Big Chill. A worthwhile stop on your way up or down the Keys, or as just a special destination on its own. It's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, mile marker 104 in Key Largo. More old school coming up with Tony Segreto. I'm Jeff Deforrest. You got Mike Lubie Lubitz. You comparing him to Alberto Tamba at the beginning of the show?
Can you imagine?
Tamba.
What do you mean, like Jean-Claude Keely?
One of my favorites, man. The Flying Frenchman, man. He was great. All right, coming back with more with Tony in a moment. Now that. Stick with us here on Ion Channel, video and audio streaming, and just Google the Defo Show. You can tell your friends about it. It is 8:22 here on the East Coast.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style. And you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
Hey, it's Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet here for my friends over at Shenanigans Sports Pub. It's a great place to go to take in a game, a good meal, and a couple of drinks. My friend Patrick, he's been doing it a long time, and he's got 2 locations. West Side is right across from TY Park in Hollywood. And then the East Side location is at 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Shenanigans is the place for wings, burgers, barbecue, fresh fish, anything you want, drink specials, late night dining, outdoor dining. It is the place to go, family friendly. Go to Shenanigans and tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
It's okay. You were known as Keith Wilkes when you were broadcasting here in South Florida on TV, as smooth as silk whenever it came to the eloquence, the overall Shakespearean-like eloquence that you always expressed. And there you were because you lost a bet.
Yes.
How much money did you have on that, Tony?
Exactly.
Why don't you just transparency?
We're not going to discuss
that.
We're not going to discuss that. That's why I may have to call Anna at Deal Volkswagen because like I told you,
You're going to need a deal, man. I mean, no money down, one of those kind of things. Yeah, because you don't have any money. That's usually the main reason to take advantage of that.
Defo and Lubie always have a blast kicking it old school with the iconic Tony Segreto. Brought to you by Catholic Health Services and Texas Roadhouse.
What is that music? What is that?
Our buddy Albert Castillo.
Albert Castillo.
It's old stuff, though. He's customized some new music just for the show. I mean, the problem.
I wanted to hear some upbeat stuff there.
I'm just waiting.
Well, we got to throw the blues on this one because, and I think it's appropriate. Lubie rarely in tune with what's going on with the segments when it comes to his musical selection. Somewhat limited here, but nonetheless, crying the blues is what everybody's doing. That is a Dolphin fan.
Yeah.
After the just bludgeoning that was taken at the hands of the Tennessee Titans. And Tony, I mean, we've seen this for so long, and these conversations, there's a sameness to them that after a while, I mean, I don't even know if it's even worth bringing up. All the different failures of the past and moves that were just organizational catastrophes that have taken place. And then, what would be bugging me if I was a Dolphin fan, which I'm not saying that I'm not. I do like many of the people on the team, and my association with them was always very favorable, but sort of neutral at this point, just as an observer. And you're thinking, how could you strip a team down to the extent that they did, and a couple of years later, you look like you're destined to go 8-8, or what would it be, 9-8, 8-9,
8-9, yeah.
Into perpetuity, the exact same thing that you were trying to get away from in the first place.
Well, let's really bring it to old school. You know what it is? It's my record is skipping. It's really it's on skip because I've worn out the grooves. It's the same old, and How if I'm working for the Dolphins, if I'm in marketing, how do I sell this product? How do I do this? How do I convince someone, a father and daughter, or father and son, or mother and son, however you want to pair this up, two people go into a game, how am I going to justify you spending, $300, $400 on a Sunday afternoon to watch something you could watch back at home on TV and save all that kind of money if you want to watch it, or not watch it at all? How are you going to market that? How are you going to get this fan base excited? How are you going to get the NFL? I mean, they're destined to be 8-8 again. In my household, my children were brought up Dolphin fans. We're still faithful. We still watch and or listen to games whatever the case might be. And, my wife will go, well, how are they doing? And my daughter's response is, well, they're 8-8 again, Mom. What can we tell you? It's just on and on and on. I thought Omar Kelly had an interesting perception today.
He's a bit of a radical when it comes to
well,
this
no,
stuff.
yeah, he is. And, let's just leave it. I happened to read him today. Let's just put it that way. Okay.
All right.
If I'm Tua, I'm saying to myself, everybody's saying, well, I may not be here. I'm not sure I want to be here.
How do I?
I'm not sure I'm being put in the best situation to use my talents. And I also agree what we've learned about Tua is that doesn't have the ability today to carry a team. Right. They can't make any mistakes. There can't be, wide receivers down. There can't be, how many quarterbacks have we seen in our lifetime that can carry a team? We saw number 13 here do it. Danny Marino does it. Roethlisberger had done it. Brady has done it. Favre has done it. I mean, Troy Aikman did it. They had that ability. If guys were down, to still carry a team. Does Tua have that? With this kind of team, you need somebody either like that, or you need to have a heck of a lot better players around them.
Doesn't seem like they have a good enough roster.
No.
It's no single guy necessarily responsible. Here's the thing, and to your point, I often got a kick out of surveys that involved trying to figure out what the worst job in sports is. And we were talking about this earlier this morning, Tony, on the show, where I used to, and it was always the worst job in sports. So it was always the teaser horse at a stud farm. Right, where they're all going in to see like Man of War, and you're the poor schlep that has to go out there and get the mayor all excited, and you get nothing, man. You get like a biscuit, a candy cane at the end of it all. And meanwhile, here's Stormcat banging all of the hot chicks that have ever been assembled in a racing situation. And then here in town, I years ago, and I was a big fan of going to Panther games when they first started playing at the new arena. It was the same old song there where, we're going to get it together and we're just a few steps away. And meanwhile, they were losing, and it wasn't a very exciting brand of hockey necessarily either. They didn't have a lot of star power. And the worst job in town was the scalper at a Panther game, because you'd see the poor schmuck in the parking lot, and he's holding up like 4 tickets, and it wouldn't matter if he was selling them for $1. Nobody was buying it because there was nobody there.
I know, he'd give them away.
It was indifference. So
exactly.
The marketing person that's calling out, this morning, trying to entice even their most loyal of fans to go and continue to buy into whatever it is that they're selling, which they just don't have a lot of sizzle. I mean, the 7-game winning streak was all right. And that did bring them back into contention. But then whenever, as you say, they arrive at the moment, the truth, unfortunately, is not very favorable.
Yeah, it's the same old. They lose 7, they win 7. They set an NFL record for the first team that's ever done it. Yay. Okay.
You had to lose 7 first, though, in a row to get that distinction, right?
Exactly.
You had to have your face in the mud. Yes.
Exactly. That's the point. And then, you wind up, and then, the weather, we're gonna use the weather as a problem.
Doesn't rain here. Does not rain here, Tony.
Grow up, for goodness sake. Come on. Goodness me. I can't.
It was a poor performance all the way around. I mean,
they didn't show up.
Unfortunate time. Yeah.
And that, what? I'm sorry, folks, but that stems from, were they not prepared properly? Were they not excited enough? Did they not know what's on the line? I mean, come on. It was like boys against men. It was incredible.
Yeah,
It was
get
just,
destroyed by Ryan Tannehill. I guess
And his game was up.
added a dash of irony to it all. I'm not sure. We were talking about this yesterday also on a show. I don't know that Ryan Tannehill came out of the locker room thinking, I got to kill these guys, man, for what they did to me. I mean, they handed him the job, even though he wasn't necessarily qualified. He sort of, blossomed a little bit and then tailed off because the Dolphins continue to blunder with player personnel decisions and coaching mistakes. And then he gets into a much more favorable situation where he doesn't have to do much except turn around. When did Tennessee, we were wondering this yesterday, sign Jim Brown?
yeah,
Contract. I mean,
really,
in there to back up
incredible.
Derrick Henry, who returns for them, and they could qualify then. As it's odd because it seemed like after Henry went out, they went through a little bit of a slump, and you sort of wrote them off. But they could qualify as the number one seed in the AFC, which is also wide open as far as filling out the rest of the field going into the final week.
Right. I agree. But let me go back to a point you brought up about Tannehill. Whether or not I think he does more than just turn around and hand the ball off. He's had a really good.
He's turned into a decent quarterback.
Yeah, he's turned into
a
really decent quarterback, and I think that's the kind of situation Tua needs to be in, because I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I just don't think he's in a position to be on a team like this. He needs to be, anywhere but here, right?
Help
is what I'm saying. Yeah,
Well, most players around the league are saying
He needs
that's
help.
unfortunate.
he needs help. He needs good coaching. He needs players around him. He needs some positive vibes. He's not getting any of that here. I give him a lot of credit. He's kept his mouth shut. He's working hard. He's been through all these kinds of injuries, and I applaud the young man, and I wish him nothing but the best. And I really hope that we see him with an opportunity to succeed somewhere, because I think that he's getting a raw deal right now. That's just my interpretation. And I'm not saying, he's the second coming, but I am saying he's better than what we see.
Yep.
Would you agree? I mean, come on.
The dreamers out there have everything from Aaron Rodgers coming here next year.
No. Oh, well.
To Deshaun Watson, of course, which was highly speculated upon during the regular season. It doesn't seem like there was that much momentum for that to resurrect itself, and any number of others. And also, I don't know that they would have any interest in Baker Mayfield, but he's going to be on the loose with supposedly 5 or 6 teams in a position to want to chase him. And we know that there are quarterback changes now that take place in the league at a high level. So who do you see being the quarterback of this team next year?
Here's the bigger question. What quarterback wants to put himself in the position to come here?
Ben Gazzara, man, run for your life.
Exactly.
They show both films of Ben Gazzara.
Sort of like when you're in a pickup game and all of a sudden that as the teams begin to form, the pickup teams begin to form. There's really one bad team, and you're like one of the 5 guys left, and you're hiding behind everybody, going, "Don't pick me, please, don't pick me, don't pick me."
You deliberately missed the free throw, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of the way things are shaking out when you're choosing up sides. It's unfortunate too, because there was rise for hope, I guess, last year, and they got crushed in the final game of the season, and then people started to buy into it again, and it's so terrible to sell false hope, and that's what the guy I was telling Lubie earlier, this morning, that my phone rang, and you see a little phone number under there, and I recognize the number as being Dolphins Stadium, Dolphins offices, and it says scam likely. And it was somebody from the ticket office calling to sell me that they're going to be good next year. But, it's not unique to this city. It just seems like we've been having the same discussion on this for like 20 years.
It
has to be frustrating in other places.
It is. It's an old record. We just keep dusting it off and putting it back on the record player and playing it. It is. It's just an old record. And I thought I only heard the last couple of minutes of OJ. I thought he brought out another good point too, and that is, we're watching Philadelphia we're watching all these teams get better. Philadelphia get better, Cincinnati get better, Cleveland's in the conversation, on and on and on.
Arizona did this.
Yeah, Arizona. And we're sitting here like what it's awesome. The Detroit Lions, we just keep spinning our wheels. We're like in the mud, and the wheels just keep spinning, and we can't figure out a way to get out of it.
Even worse, because they're spinning it at the exact level of putridness that nobody wanted before. I mean, we could have just kept Joe Philbin around if we wanted to grind out.
And we've already sold the farm. What do we have to give away to get more? We don't have anything to give away to get more. And
we'll see what happens.
We'll have to see I will tell you this: the people here in New England, because of the game that's coming up with the Patriots, they're laughing, going, "Well, this is a win." You know, they
never any guarantee there.
No, but but you know, the Patriot fans right now, they're like going, "Okay,
they're back already." It's annoying.
Yeah,
you know what the first three letters of assumption are, of course, Tony, and usually somebody that assumes something is a surefire bet ends up looking like an ass. Now, if you want to look good and to feel good about any kind of healthcare that you're interested in, especially when it comes to modes of rehabilitation, whether you had knee surgery, especially people that have suffered strokes, it's very unfortunate, hard to come back from. You need the right kind of care. And the diversity, the versatility, and the just attention to detail that is taken by Catholic Health Services really, really sets them apart. I mean, by miles, Tony, from any other organization in the field.
They are not even close. It's sort of like them and everybody else. And it's because not just the people they have with the skills that they have. It's not just their skill set. And it's not just because of the facilities and all the different machines that they may have and all these different things to help you rehab. This is about the integrity and the passion of the people. Every day they come to work. They not only involve the person that they're rehabbing, but they involve the family. They keep the family up to date. They tell the family exactly what they can expect, when they can expect, and how long they can expect their loved one to be in the facility to take the rehab. And in many cases, whether it's from a stroke or from a knee or from a hip or an ankle, whatever the case might be, they're usually up and around quicker than anyone would have imagined, and up and around not just quicker, but better than anyone could have imagined. And that's because how Catholic Health Services approaches each and every person. They have made it through COVID. You know, we still are battling with it, but they've been an advocate for how they can do things the right way to keep all of their patients safe. We've made it again through another hurricane season, because what do? They not only upgraded their generators, they made them better than what they were required to do to make sure that their loved ones would always be safe. They're always being proactive rather than reactive. If you have any issue, please trust me when I tell you. You can ask Defo. He lived through it with his mother. Catholic Health Services is the way to go. They're trustworthy, they're honest, and they come to work every day with a certain amount of passion unmatched.
Well said by Tony Segreto, and absolutely the truth. Catholic Health Services, really, really great people to deal with. Any type of medical service, inquire about all of the different things they do, CatholicHealthServices.com. All right, coming back with more Old School with Tony Segreto. I'm Jeff Deforrest. He is Mike Lubitz. Ion Channel is where you can find us. IonChannel.com. We have the video stream working right now. Did you notice the new digs, Tony?
Yeah, man. You're styling back here. I mean, you got a nice. You got
a couple of boxing
posters
in the background.
Yeah, you got your charger back there. You got your hat on your lamp. I love that.
That wasn't supposed to be in the shot. Yeah, that wasn't
no.
supposed to
Listen,
be in there.
I have hats everywhere. My wife Roseanne looks at me and you know Roseanne. She goes,
"Yes.
How many hats do we need?" I go, "You know what? It's all you know."
You wear a lot of hats, Tony.
It's what you feel. It's what you feel, you know. And your new digs are great. How do you like your new house? I mean, are you happy?
It's working out okay. I mean, a lot of stuff doesn't work, so I'm happy that we made it onto the show. That's for sure. Good to be with you on Ion Channel. And
Jack Namer, you're doing a great job. Listen, Jack Namer trusted you. And
that was probably a big mistake on his part.
And we trusted him. And oh boy, look at this. We are just taking off.
We're rolling, baby.
Thousands upon thousands of people tuning in every day. This is like incredible.
A lot of fun. All right. Old School with Tony Segreto continues. We're with you every morning from 7 to 9. We extend that thing to 9:30 on our Deal Volkswagen Degenerate Fridays, brought to you by the great people at Gulfstream Park. And they're in the midst of their championship meet, and it is heating up there. A lot of big stakes activity. And one of the things I love about the beginning of any year and the turning of the new year in sports is the thoroughbred scene with the 3-year-olds starting to emerge. Now, we've seen some evidence of ability from many 2-year-olds that are running in the top barns, and a lot of them are going to be competing right here for the opportunity to go and maybe be the favorite for the Kentucky Derby and go on to Triple Crown glory. We've seen a lot of that at Gulfstream Park, and that season's about to crank up again. Always fascinating to be out there on those racing days. So check out the calendar of events and the great stake schedule at Gulfstream Park. All right, coming back with more in a moment on Ion Channel. Glad you guys tuned in. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Defo Show. We return in a moment. Now that.
The time.
It's 8:43.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
The championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com.
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
By the way, you sound great. I don't know how good I sound, but you sound great.
You sound
great.
really good, Tony. Better than I've ever heard you before, really. Even when we were the regular radio gig there with the Comrex and all the fancy equipment that we had. Lubie set this up last night with a bunch of tape and he had a couple of paper clips here. Things are falling apart, and yet it sounds
some
brilliant.
bubble gum. I got it.
Yeah. we couldn't be happier than to be doing this. No,
I'm honored.
Cincinnati, I knew they were going to clobber everybody the rest of the way, so laying 30 didn't really hurt me that much. And then I did believe it or not, I used some Segreto logic and came up with Syracuse getting 6 in their ball game, and they managed to lose in overtime by 3, so we covered there.
Look at you.
Yeah.
I love Syracuse in that game. I truly love Syracuse.
I don't know how you could love them.
I
don't know about love.
You are such a degenerate.
Love is a strong word there.
Let's put it this way.
They lost to Florida State.
I know, but they caught me up even, so I'm happy.
Oh, very nice.
No response. No response. I'm not actually.
Well, I don't know. You're dealing with another bookmaker. I don't know.
Yeah, you're lying.
Category, Tony. When other guys are getting 3 points, you're getting 11. I mean, it's crazy.
I got in the Syracuse game. We're talking about 6. I got 15.
Exactly.
That's what I thought. Yeah, of course. It's like you've died and gone to heaven, and the rest of us are in there facing guys like Lipschitz every week with the usual demands. And make sure you're not late on Tuesday. It's like, shut up, Louie. You know what? I'm sick of like you, and I pay every week.
Defo and Lubie love kicking it old school with the legendary Tony Segreto. Big thanks to Catholic Health Services and Texas Roadhouse.
Can't help but think if I want to get out on the Pro Bowl, I'm going to have to get to the bottom of it. I mean, we're in degenerate hell, and here's Tony Segreto getting an extra 12, 13 points a ball game.
You're still dealing with the Bowery Boys and Hunts Hall and Leo Gorcey, and I've moved out.
The only
of the
way to go,
neighborhood.
man. You talk about old school. I mean, that's the only way to go. Who needs these sophisticated apps? Of course, if we start representing one of these organizations, then we'll be making those recommendations
exactly
wholeheartedly and encouraging everybody to bet their brains out this week. All right, Tony Segreto's with us. It's Old School with Tony Segreto, brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants, Catholic Health Services. I'm Jeff Deforrest, and the other gentleman here in box number 2, that would be one Michael Lubitz, who kind of reversed things, Tony. I don't know if this was on orders from one of the upper-level executives at Ion Channel, but it's weird because should the host of the show be on the left or the right of the screen with the co-host, so to speak? I mean, Lubie was taking a dominant role on this thing for the first 2 months and a half that we've been doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I sort of would think. I mean, this is
what do you think?
My take. I think you should be where I am, and I should be up where you are.
Well,
I think
you are.
Should,
I mean.
No. I think the host should be
at the bottom of things?
by him or herself. Yeah, like he or she is the one,
That's
and everybody else kind of fills in. So that's
I'm going to call in your television expertise on this one because this is a scenario that I find absolutely fascinating. And, I was going to go through all of the various playoff scenarios. And you know that you love that when you were on TV and the newscaster still had 30 seconds to fill on the sports segment. So we threw it back to you and said, hey, Tony, can you lay out those playoff possibilities here in week number 7? And you're like, what? Because there are a zillion of them.
I've got a better one for you. Real quick. Okay. So I'm in my office and they come running in. They go, we need you in the chair now. There's a breaking story. There's a fire in Miami.
Nice.
I go, okay. So I run out on the set and I get my earpiece in and I'm all set. And I go, okay, where is the fire? Miami. Where in Miami? We don't know. How many units? We don't know. Is it a warehouse? Is it a house? We're not sure. I go, all right, so what would you like me to say? Go, we don't know.
Bishop at that point. Exactly. We got a fire in Miami, and that's all we know right now.
That's it. We don't even have pictures of it.
You cut in on like a Marino historic touchdown pass to bring the people that report. All right, so, there's a scenario that if Jacksonville beats Indianapolis, the Raiders game, which the Raiders are hosting the Chargers, both teams with playoff possibilities.
Right.
But if somehow the Jaguars, this is Man of La Mancha type of stuff. I mean, the dream, the impossible dream. But if they somehow win outright over the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday, then that game that was flexed by NBC could possibly be favorable for both teams to deliberately play for a tie because they would both get into the postseason if they tied. So can you imagine the network executives, they always talk about, and you would have more insight into this than I would.
Yeah, for sure.
You were seen in a favorable light by various executives in the broadcast industry, whereas I was somebody that don't invite them into the office ever again. Yeah. But, I mean, are they really ready to jump out the window at the possibility? I mean, imagine an entire game of kneel downs until its conclusion on national television. I mean, this would be a worse embarrassment than the Heidi game.
Listen, I'm telling you, this has really been a banner year for the NFL. They've really had, I was joking earlier, but they've really had some exciting games. And I think the ratings in many cases have gone up. The advertising, they've done really well. But there is always talk in the executive rooms where they're talking, we would rather not have this scenario. Listen, you don't think ESPN was saying the last thing we want is Georgia, Alabama again? But the way it was postured, the way Georgia handled Michigan and the way Alabama beat Georgia the first time, there's enough interest where they can really start to hype this game and get something out of it. But in this case, what you pointed out, this would be the worst nightmare for any network. Absolutely any single network.
Can you imagine? I mean, it could be. That it depends how they play the game. I mean, it would be under investigation, I would imagine, for quite some time. Even the Warren Commission would probably get involved in something like this. If the two teams deliberately played for a tie, that would obviously have to be done by some kind of prearranged, a situation where the organizations got together and said, "Hey, let's neither of us win this game. We'll just take a knee."
Let's be honest, though.
Imagine
seriously, the chances of that happening are so.
Blutarski, 0.0.
You're asking Jacksonville to beat Indianapolis right
Yes.
now? Jacksonville, they're already on vacation. They've already have their lockers, packed. They're just playing this to, get paid their last game. That's it. I mean, come on. I listen, we are all
Colts are
human
15.5-point
and they're
favorites in
going to
this
want to,
ballgame.
I just can't even imagine.
You can't picture that happening.
No, I can't.
They're gonna play the game. Are you taking it seriously? That
You know it's going to happen, though. You
not
know it's
just
going to happen exactly as I laid it out.
No, that's not him.
Jacksonville wins, shocks the world, and beats the Indianapolis Colts, eliminates them from playoff possibilities. And then the Raiders, make a phone call and say, hey, guess what, Chargers? Well, why don't we just, kneel down the entire ball game and call it a draw? We'll both make the postseason and then see what happens.
Do the mice in your head ever get off the wheel? Like at night when you try to go?
That was the only playoff scenario I really wanted to explore.
Do they ever get off the wheel?
How fantastic would that be? I mean, the network executives would be gargling with razor blades if they saw that this was going to be the strategy.
It would be the talk of the town.
Underplayers would be doing a Kazatsky right down Vegas Boulevard, all the way to the sportsbook windows, where they'd be cashing. As soon as they saw this thing unfold,
it'd be one big hula hoop contest in the middle of the field.
Be a lot of fun.
You know what? But I have to tell you, stranger things have happened. I'm with you. I don't think there's any shot at this, but stranger things have happened. But to Defoe's point, can you imagine the debate that would then go on? Can you imagine Adam Schefter? He'll be going on and doing.
Schefter would blow his brains out right
he
there.
would absolutely.
He didn't know about this.
He would take the phone.
You kidding me?
Right here.
Hey, Adam, you didn't know they had agreed to this before the game?
and in that staccato, speech of his, he speaks in a very staccato type way, right? Like
he's dedicated, that guy. I mean, he's on the phone 24 hours.
Oh
a day.
yeah, listen, he does a great job. But I am not making fun.
You know what?
We
have in common, Adam Schefter and me. Adam Schefter and I have something in common. We both went to Belmore Kennedy High School. He much later than I did, and he far more successful in his broadcasting career than I could ever hope to be. But
I tell you what,
I works hard. I have to give it to him. If he's right or not.
There's a couple things I just want to bring up. Not only does he work hard, he's really, really, really good and very competent at what he does. And I have nothing but respect for how he, especially when I just lost his name. The guy who's also on it with him. He had the cancer. But Chris Mortensen. How he deferred to Chris Mortensen during that period of time and the respect he showed Chris.
He deserved it, though, Mortensen. He certainly
did. Absolutely did deserve it. But I thought Schefter was just over the top, and I was very impressed with that. So I have a great respect for him. We joke a lot, and it's it's out of deep respect because I think he does a mark.
What if we spooked him on this, though? What if we had the story first, even if it was just a figment of our imagination, our sick imagination, as you would put it? All right, let me ask you this, Tony Segreto, because we only have a minute or so left. And all right, so the playoffs are on the horizon. We don't know all the teams that are going to be in the field, but we certainly know who the heavyweight contenders are. I mean, what are you seeing? Green Bay looks great. 2 games at Lambeau after a bye week. Set themselves up in a very, very pretty position to possibly go to the Super Bowl. I was starting to buy into Kansas City. I mean, some of their wins were a little bit suspect, but nonetheless, they managed to blow a big lead, a 2-touchdown lead against Cincinnati, who was a team a few weeks ago that people said was going right to the top, and then they slumped, and now they've bounced back into the picture. What are you seeing? I mean, do you have any feel for who might make it into the championship game?
I've always had this sort of this thought that when the train has to go to Lambeau twice, that time of year, it's hard to beat the Packers there.
It's the ice ball. It's Chuck Mercedes.
I mean,
all over again.
This is not the weather we had last week where it was raining a little bit.
That was mild.
What was it? 60 degrees, something like that.
Yeah.
But this is Lambeau. This is Green Bay. This is hardcore. This is where the ball feels like a rock. Okay, when you throw it, yet this is where the ball slips out of your hand because you can't get a good grip. This is where you're wearing 9 layers of clothes, whatever the case might be.
Slipping and sliding, no traction. Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers, I honestly believe that he is on this mission to prove who he is and his legacy. And I think he's got the guys around him to make it happen. So, I mean, I think that for me, having to go through Lambeau is going to be difficult for any team to do.
All right, so
What do you
think?
there? Yeah. And
I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, different things can happen, and especially the way it's gone this year, where roster changes take place on almost a daily basis, where all of a sudden, like 12 guys are out for a team, and you're trying to assess their chances of winning a ball game, even if it's in the regular season. So, we don't know how any of that's going to play out. But you would have to think Green Bay seems to be playing the best football of anybody in the NFC right now.
And they're built to win too, in a way that in the past, like the Rodgers was always a finesse guy, right? Well, with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, they have a big back. They have the speed guy. They have a real line this time. They have legit receivers. Devontae Adams isn't just like some schmank. He's probably the best receiver in football. Like where in years past the Packers did get eaten up at home, this team's built to actually win in the cold.
Well, listen, this is, you talk about old school. This mantra has never changed. And Jeff, you can back me up on this. At this time of the year, when the weather gets bad, you need that big back. You need that guy. You need that running game. That's why, to your point, Tennessee has a shot at this.
Yeah.
They're not out of it for sure.
No. So I think that when like you, to your point, Lubie, when you have the team that they have built in Green Bay, that's tough to beat, man. That is a tough team. Even on a good sunny 80-degree day, it's a tough team to beat. Now you put it where it's 2 degrees or 10 below and it's snowing, and you got Aaron Rodgers and you got that offensive line and you got those backs. That becomes even more difficult.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, even though she sent us a picture of her ice fishing with John Madden, the lovely and talented Leslie Visser, a lasting image for me of her broadcasting career was when she was absolutely frozen stiff on the sidelines of the Giants Green Bay Packers championship game, where Favre threw a pick and the Giants ended up winning that game. And I guess they won. Was that the year they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl to derail their unbeaten season? But I mean, the only way to put this is fucking freezing. That was the condition out there. I mean, they just put double F's up on the scoreboard, not even a temperature. Tony, we have to run, man. Thanks to Ed for joining us, Ed Garcia, and of course, Catholic Health Services. We always have to pay homage to their greatness.
Absolutely.
Tony, always a pleasure, my friend. We'll talk to you again next week.
Absolutely. Have a great week, guys. Thank you, Catholic Health Services and Texas Roadhouse. Defo, Lubie, love you guys.
All right, Tony Segreto, ladies and gentlemen, a little episode of Old School. So tomorrow we will attempt another edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge from the new digs here. And I don't know what the technical expertise is at this point, 3 or 4 weeks into this, of Dave Gurgles Gurgley and the Polyman Paul Massell. So we'll find out. But we'll figure out a way to do it here tomorrow on the Defo Show. And, of course, Friday, Degenerate Friday, which you want to tune in. Of course, Mark Lawrence on the final game of the regular season, final games and final week of the regular season might be a real asset to you because the guy's been doing well all season long, really having a great year. And I think it's a year where he's going totally against the grain because the chalk is actually having a favorable season this year. I believe favorites are winning at a reasonably high ratio by comparison to the usual expectation that you would have, which is right around like 50-50, right, Lubie? Yeah, flip a coin. That's all you have to do. Flip a coin. That's going to be our method of picking games. All right. We're going to see you tomorrow at 7 in the a.m. Thank you so much for tuning in. For Michael Lubitz, I'm Jeff Deforrest. All the people on ION channel. Thanks again, Brad, for the assist there. 6:30 in the morning. The guys out there skating, man, shooting a puck, which was great and got us going here today. And we had a lot of fun being with you. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:02.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.